How's it going, guys? It's Tego from SGN, back once again to talk about some Mortal Kombat with the third edition of Mortal Monday, and this one's going to be all about the characters that I want to see in Mortal Kombat 11. Now, the first edition of this series was predictions for the roster, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely take a look at it. I'll leave it at the end of the video that you can click on, you can check it out, and this one is going to be different from that video because obviously that one was predictions, so the characters I think that are going to be in the game, the characters I expect to be in the game, but this one's about the ones I want to be in the game, so it's going to be very preference-based, so prepare to see quite a few of the characters that you like not be selected in here. And obviously, before I start this off, I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you guys for liking, subscribing, and commenting on all of my videos. You know, it's very, very helpful, and I very much appreciate you, and I thank you very much for being a part of this community, and I hope you guys stick around to see if this thing can grow, because I am getting quite a bit of feedback lately, especially for my standards. Obviously, not compared to big channels and stuff like that, but it's definitely helpful, and I'm very, very grateful for all the support you guys have been giving me, and I look forward to seeing if you guys do support me as we go on and we can build up this family in a big way. Now, getting into the characters I want to see, I want to go ahead and say before I start that this isn't going to be a list with a specific order. All these characters are just characters I want to see. It's not like Scorpion's number 1 and Sub-Zero's number 27, because it is a 27-man roster. You know, at least I want to see 27 characters plus 3 3 new characters. So I can't really list them on there. Anyway. Starting off with Scorpion. Now, Scorpion is one of those characters that we know for a damn fact is going to be in the game. Because not only is he the fan favorite, or one of the fan favorites at least, he is also Ed Boon's absolute poster child. He is obsessed with it, with Scorpion. We just know that for a damn fact, because he's the logo, he's the character everybody always sees in the game trailers. He is the number 1 guy in the Mortal Kombat universe, and he's definitely going to be back, and I want to see him because I love the way he plays. I love the backstory. I love the way they continue to expand on him. I loved him as Hanzo Hazashi in MKX, and I want to see more of that. I want to see what they do with that and where he goes with that story. Along the same lines is Sub-Zero. Obviously, everybody loves Sub-Zero. It's fire and ice. You know, you cannot to a Mortal Kombat game without Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They tried that once with MK3, and Scorpion wasn't in the game, and people were pissed. So there's no way in hell they're ever going to do that again. Maybe they'll have him like as some kind of secret unlockable character, which I wouldn't be opposed to, but you know 100% that both Scorpion and Sub-Zero are going to be in this game, and I look forward to playing them. Raiden is another one of those characters that are going to be guaranteed to be in the game. There's been some talk of him possibly being the end bad guy, but regardless, I think he'll be a playable character no matter what, because it's still Raiden. You know what I mean? He can be as powerful as you want, but we've played him through so many games now that would be really stupid to not have him as a playable character, because he's not all of a sudden some incredibly powerful character who's, you know, ungodlike. You know what I mean? So Raiden will be in the game as a playable character. Now, Kitana is another one that I like to see in these games. I don't usually main her. I honestly don't really play her very often, but I like the way she plays because she's very unique. She's a classic character with the fans and all that stuff, and I just like the way that she plays, and I like to see her in tournaments and stuff like that. So I want to see Kitana back, and based on the story as well, I'm almost 100% sure that she will be in the game alongside Liu Kang. They are the queen and the king of the Netherrealm, and you know almost for a fact that they are going to be in there, and they're going to have a major role. Now, the last game was all about the Netherrealm with Quan Chi and Shinnok, so I don't think that the main focus as villains in this game are going to be Netherrealm related, but Liu Kang and Kitana are very much going to be prominent in this game, and I hope that they'll have a bit more personality there, because as Revenants, they didn't really have a lot, but maybe now that Quan Chi's dead, there might be a bit more, you know, not just screen time for them, but a bit more character to them, bringing them back to see what they can really bring to the storyline. Next up, we have Noob Saibot, and this is where it's starting to get interesting for me. As Noob Saibot, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated characters, and yes, a lot of people are going to say he's very rated from a fan point of view, but if you notice, like, he doesn't get the love that he should in a lot of these games, and in my opinion, he has a lot of potential now that, you know, they've really revamped the cast a little bit with introducing so many new characters and stuff like that, that I think that Noob Saibot would very much be a welcome return. And everybody seems to want him. He's been pretty much finishing first or second on all the polls, that whether it's Ed Boon or the Nethercast or just about anybody's putting up of what characters they want to see come back. Noob Saibot is always on that list. He's also on my list. I love the guy. The way that they can mix in Bihan with Kai Lang, I think is really, really interesting, seeing what they can do with that, and possibly maybe having him become even more powerful and coming back and being one of the main guys from a villain point of view, or even what a lot of people have been theorizing, and this might actually be even cooler, because Bihan, you know, being Snoop Saibot being a bad guy, all of a sudden coming back as the champion of the Elder Gods. That would be really, really cool. Seeing them sort of do something with him like what they did with Scorpion in, what was it, Deception? That would be really, really cool, really awesome to see what they can do with that, if they actually do that. And is he going to be the guy that stops the main villain? I mean, that'd be really interesting. It would definitely give him a lot more importance in the storyline, and it's something that I would like to see. Next up, we have Jade, and I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying that Jade, in my opinion, is going to have two separate characters, in the sense that there's going to be Jade, which is the Jade that we've always known, and then there's going to be a new character, which I'm going to list the Dream Lady as a new character. So that's going to be basically 3 new characters, and including her. So she's going to be one of the 3 in my opinion. But there could also be 4. I'm just going to go with 3 for the sake of this video. And I think that Jade's going to be, I'm not going to say a major role, but I think that her body will have something to do with it. And then maybe she wakes up and then she has something to do with either being part of the Dream Lady's, you know, army or something like that. We don't know exactly what the hell's going to happen with the Dream Lady. She wants to go back and sort of reboot the series. So we don't know what's going to happen there and what Jade's going to actually have to do in the game. But I expect her to be a playable character, and I think it's probably pretty welcome too, because with the fact that they've teased her in 2 games now, of course she was playable in MK9, but I mean in MKX they teased her pretty strongly in quite a few endings, so I think that she's going to be a playable character, and I don't like her very much. I'm not going to lie, I said in my prediction video as well. I've never been a big fan of Jade, just because she used to absolutely torture the fuck out of me when I would play Ultimate MK3, and it was really a pain in the ass, and I've never forgotten that. Never will forget that. So every time I see her, I kind of cringe a little bit, because that damn staff just used to beat the shit out of me, and it really annoyed me. So I look forward to seeing her back from a storyline point of view, but I don't look forward to getting beat up by her once again. Next up, we have Rain, and this is sort of maintaining the Edenia factor with Jade. Rain is one of those characters that I'm not like a monstrously big fan of, but the guy continues to get, you know, screwed over basically by Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios, in the sense that this guy has had so many opportunities to be have a slot on the main roster, and he continues to be snubbed. And I want to see him do it this time. I want to see him on the main roster, because I think they could do quite a bit with him, not just from a gameplay point of view, but also from a storyline point of view. You know, having him as a major role in Edenia, seeing what they can do with Jade and the Dream Lady. Maybe he can have a big factor there, and I would really like to see what they do with him. I'm not 100% convinced that they're going to put him in, because they continue to just, you know, snub him and his fan base, but we'll see what happens, and I look forward to seeing what they do. Anyway, next up we have Shang Tsung, who's a character that I very much love, and I think that just about every single one of us loves, whether it's in the movies, in the games. He's always been a fan favorite. He's always been a badass character, and with the fact that Shang Tsung is now, I mean, with that Quan Chi is now gone, the slot is back open for a sorcerer. Bo Raicho maybe coming back. Maybe they've been teasing that maybe Shang Tsung will come back as a good guy under the tutelage of Bo Raicho, which would be pretty interesting. I don't think that's exactly going to happen. I think he will come back as a bad guy, but we'll see what happens, and I really, really love Shang Tsung, so I would be very happy to see him come back. I just hope they give him some better costumes, because over the past, 4 or 5 games, he's had some really piss-poor costumes. He was okay in MK9. He had a couple of them that were pretty decent, but overall, Shang Tsung's costumes have been really, really bad over the years, and I want to see them come back with something really, really good. Next up, we have Kotal Kahn, who isn't really a character that I truly enjoyed in MKX, simply because they made him a bum in the storyline. And yes, he was one of the main bad guys and all that stuff, but the big problem with the way that the story mode is in MK and in the Mortal Kombat series lately is you don't really play as the bad guys, so you're constantly being the good guys, and there's only so many characters in the game that you can beat up, so the bad guys constantly get their asses kicked, and they just kind of end up looking like bums, and that's what happened with Kotal Kahn, that's what happened with Aaron Black, and I want to see both of those guys coming back in this game, maybe maintaining how cool they were as characters to look at, how cool their playstyle was, because I really enjoyed both of them. And I want to see them both come back with a better, with a bigger role in the storyline, in the sense that I want to see them more powerful. I want to see them be less bitches, I would like to say. And maybe they could introduce a story in the story mode where you also play from the villain's point of view. That way the villains do actually win some fights here and there, and they don't all just look like basically henchmen. Next up, we have Fujin, and Fujin is much like Rain, another one of those characters who everybody's been asking for a very damn long time, and they continue to snub him. They continue to see like, okay, Fujin just barely missed the bus, but maybe he'll be in the next one, and I'm hoping that he will be in this one, because it just makes sense, not just from a gameplay point of view, but definitely from a storyline point of view, because Raiden is going off the deep end, and he might even die in this one. It's unlikely, because Raiden is one of those characters that you kind of have to have in the Mortal Kombat games, because everybody loves him, and people are starting to get a little bit Raidened out, it seems like, but I expect them to continue to have him in there, maybe as a minor role, but he's definitely always going to be a playable character in there, in my opinion. But, in my opinion, Fujin is the perfect character to replace him if they do decide to get rid of Raiden moving forward, because Fujin, he's in the old timeline, he's the guy that replaces Raiden as the protector of the Earth realm as Raiden becomes an Elder God. So it makes sense from that point of view. But it also makes sense in the sense that Fujin has such a diverse set of moves from everybody else in there, using his wind attacks and all that stuff, that it just feels right. And this is the time. You know, he had that cameo in MKX, and everybody was like, okay, maybe he's going to be in the game. Maybe he's going to be in there as DLC or unlockable character, and he just wasn't there. So that really bothered me. That really bothered a lot of people, and I would love to see him come back, and I just hope that NetherRealm gives him the respect that he deserves. Moving on, we have Cyrax and a Sector. I'm going to have both of these guys coming in there because I want to see some cyborg presence in this game. You know, MKX had a very severe lack of cyborgs, and yes, they brought back Triborg, which was basically Cyborg, Sector, and Smoke mixed into one thing, but like, is that really interesting? Not particularly, in my opinion. I didn't even play Triborg, to be honest with you. I never even tried them. So that just shows how interesting I thought that was. And for the most part, let's just be real, that Triborg was basically Cyrax. It was just a Cyrax machine. Everybody used him as Cyrax, and that's the character that everybody wants to see come back from a cyborg point of view. And I think that if you bring back Cyrax, you got to bring back Sector. Maybe have them going at it and see what they can do with this, you know, with having a cyborg presence in the game. And I want to see what they can do with that. Next up, we have Smoke. Obviously, he's a character that traditionally has also been associated with cyborgs, but I don't want to see him coming back as a cyborg. Honestly, like, let Sector and Cyrax do the role. Let them do their thing. Have Smoke come in there. Hopefully fix the damn hair, because of all the things in that game, of all the hairstyles, of all the looks and stuff like that, and as cool as Smoke was to play, I really enjoyed playing him. The hair was just really stupid, and I want to see them fix that, because that's borderline trash. Like, no, I'm going to go ahead and say that's fucking trash. That hairstyle was garbage. So I want to see them fix that, but I love Smoke. He has so much potential, and he's another one of those characters that, in my opinion, NetherRealm has never really quite been able to exploit to the very best in terms of how much potential he has, how much they can do with him, not just from gameplay, but also storyline. They have so much they can do there, and I just want to see them actually be able to, you know, reach his full potential and really do what they can do with Smoke. Now we have Havoc, and in my opinion, Havoc is by far the best 3D era character. He has the coolest looking moveset, he has the coolest looking design, and the fact that they're so different from everybody else. He can snap his neck, he can break every single bone in his body and not be hurt because of the way that the Chaos Realm is developed. And I want to see him having a role in here. I'm not saying he has to be one of the main bad guys. There are a lot of people that have been talking about how maybe he's going to have some kind of role in there as a, you know, Deadly Alliance sort of thing with maybe Shang Tsung. And I don't know how likely that is. I don't know how realistic that is. But I want to see him in the game regardless, because from the moves that he has to the look that he has and just the way they can implement him into the storyline and maybe expand it from being, instead of just having, you know, Earth Realm, Nether Realm, and Outworld, have the Chaos Realm coming back, have the Order Realm come back, and have Havoc taking on Hotaru, who I also want to see in the game, who is the leader of the Order Realm. I want to see all these two things combined in the one game, really see them go at it, and possibly in MK12, have the Order Realm and the Chaos Realm be maybe the main parts of the game, maybe being the main places that you see in the game. Because as cool, obviously, and as Earth Realm, Nether Realm, and Outworld are, you got to expand a little bit. You got to have some variety. And one of my favorite parts of Deception's Conquest mode was going to the Order Realm, was going to the Chaos Realm. That was so cool. And it was something that we hadn't seen before. And I want to see them expand on that, show us more of it, and really see what they can do with those two realms that have really been underdeveloped and underexploited. Now, obviously, I want to see Serena as well. There's a character that I've been mentioning quite a bit, and everybody's been wanting to see her ever since her role in Mortal Kombat Mythologies, because apart from that, she's only been, maybe in like one of the Game Boy games, something like that, but apart from that, she's only been in Armageddon, and everybody was in Armageddon, and she was pretty much basic. There was really no development to her in that game. There was really no development to anybody in that game, and I want to see her come back with a cool moveset, with a cool look, and she did have a cameo in MKX, so it is possible. They do have a character design for her, and I really like that design. So if they can carry that over, give her some good moves, make her interesting in the story, they could have something really, really awesome on their hands, and I want to see her come back, or at least be introduced in the game for the first damn time, and really see what they can do with her. Next up, we have Cassie Cage. Now, there's a lot of people that have a lot of monster beef with the new characters they implemented, especially the kids, and I'm also one of them. You know, apart from Cassie, Takeda, and that's pretty much it. I didn't like any of the new, you know, Special Forces kids that they introduced. I thought they all sucked. Jackie Briggs in particular was really garbage. But even Kung Jin, I didn't like him at all. I mean, it's cool and all that he has arrows and stuff like that, but he's basically just Green Arrow in Mortal Kombat, and I don't really want to see that. I definitely don't want to see him come back. But, you know, I think that Cassie Cage with the fact that she has so many traits taken from Johnny Cage, who is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character, with his charisma, his gameplay, the way that he fights, everything about him is really, really awesome. So for Cassie Cage to come over there, sort of take some of his thunder, and have some of Sonya's moves as well, I think that just, it makes sense for her to be in the game. It absolutely makes sense, especially because she just beat Shinnok. Like, how stupid would it be if NetherRealm didn't bring her in the game? I'm not saying she has to be like the one that beats the main villain. I'm just saying, like, how stupid would it be if she beat Shinnok? She won. She was basically the hero of Mortal Kombat X, and then she doesn't even make the main roster in Mortal Kombat 11. I think that would be really, really stupid, and I don't think they're going to do that. And I'm not like the biggest fan of Cassie Cage, but I just think that it would be really stupid from a storyline point of view. And I do actually enjoy to play her quite a bit because she is fun, she's fast, and all that stuff. So it makes sense, and I want to see her come back. The only other Special Forces kid I want to see back, like I said, is Takeda, because I want to see what they can do with Kenshi. I don't want Kenshi to actually be in the game. I'm not that big of a fan of Kenshi. I am, actually, but I've sort of Kenshi'd out because he continues to pretty much be a minor character in the series, much like Baraka, but from a good character point of view. And I want to see them do more with him, but I want to see him skip a game. That way maybe the desire to see him come back is going to be a bit stronger, and I think that that's probably going to be what they're going to do. I think that's what they're going to do. It'd be very interesting to see what they can do with Takeda, with, you know, the whole story of his parents being killed and all that stuff, and Kenshi being the guide there. So having him alongside Scorpion, I think, is perfect, and then having Kenshi be their guide, maybe as an NPC or a character just as a cameo here and there. That'd be really, really cool. Next up, Ashura. All right, Ashura is another character that I think was very, very underappreciated from the 3D era. You know, she has a really cool look, and a lot of people say that she's just a female Raiden, and I disagree with that completely. Like, I don't really see any similarities except for maybe the fact that she has the hat and the robes, but I don't think that's like, that's not all that uncommon when you're talking about something that's based on Oriental sort of mythologies. You know, that's just, it is what it is. They wear robes there. They wear hats like that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I liked the way that she looked. I liked her sword. I liked the backstory where she was a demon who was purifying her soul by killing more and more demons and more spawns of the Netherrealm. I like that a lot, and I would like to see her have something maybe to do with Noob Saibot like it was in the old game. Like her 100%. No, she was in the old games. I think her main thing was to kill Ermac, because Ermac, she considered him to be evil, even though in the old games he wasn't evil. So there's plenty to work with there, and I think that Ashura, if done the right way, can be really, really cool. Next up, we have Reiko, and in my opinion, Reiko is one of the coolest characters in the series from a potential point of view. You know, being Shao Kahn's general, and now that Shao Kahn is officially dead, and of course, he's probably going to come back as a pre-order character. I think that Reiko has plenty of potential there. Like, let's just say that he finds Shao Kahn's skull, like happened in MK4. He finds the mask or whatever, the skull, and he gets some of those powers. He doesn't have to become a god or anything like that, but he can become very powerful. I think that would be really, really interesting to see maybe him going against Kodo Khan. I can't remember exactly what his role was in the comics leading into MKX. I think he may have actually been one of Kodo Khan's guys, but regardless, you know, I think that Reiko, he has a lot of potential there. And if they can do him the right way and really give him a lot of Shao Kahn's moves, not like all of them, but have like maybe some stuff with the shoulders and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I'm having kind of a blank on what his moveset was, but if they can bring him in the right way, they have plenty of potential there. Next up, we have Nitara, and something that we haven't really seen a lot in Mortal Kombat is vampire characters, and Nitara, in my opinion, was actually a pretty damn good idea. I loved her look. She was really, really cool to play as because she was very different, and overall, I think that she is a character, like I said, that's very underappreciated, and I would like to see her come back and see what they can do with her in this new era with these new, character models, and possibly give her an important role in the storyline. Not too important. I don't think that should really be a big factor in MK11, but possibly in MK12 if they can really hit her out of the park and give her a fan base to build on. But I want to see what they can do with her. Next up, we have Bo Raicho. Now, Bo Raicho has always been one of my favorite characters ever since Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Like, who doesn't love a fat guy who farts, who pukes, and who's just hilarious? He's basically Jackie Chan if Jackie Chan was fat. And that's just, I love that shit. I absolutely love that. I love Bo Raicho. He was really, really cool in MKX, and I look forward to seeing what they can do with him in the story, because it looks like he might actually have a major role in the invasion of Outworld by Raiden, if that does actually happen, because we always see that in endings, certain things are canon, other things aren't, so we don't know 100% if that invasion is going to be canon, but it seems very likely, because it happened in quite a few endings, and it's actually a pretty interesting storyline as well. I want to see that happen, Raiden going off the deep end, and that's maybe the start of Raiden really becoming just a bad guy, just a guy who invades out of nowhere, who doesn't really just protect Earthrealm. He's more like, I'm going to get these motherfuckers before they can get us. I want to see that type of stuff. I want to see what they can really do there. And I think that Bo Raicho, with his charisma, with how funny he is, with the fan base he has, and now they've actually made him cooler because he was a lot better in MKX than he was in the old games in terms of like being not such of a joke. I think they have a lot they can do there. Maybe even introducing the Shang Tsung. Well, not introduce him, but, you know, mix him up with Shang Tsung. Maybe with Noob Saibot, because they did mention Noob in one of his intros in MKX. If they can do that type of stuff, they have so much potential there with Bo Raicho. Now, moving into the last few characters, we have Frost. And Frost, in my opinion, was one of the biggest characters missing from MKX because, and obviously she had her cameo in the storyline. But when you look at the kids there, are there really any of those MK kids that are particularly interesting? Apart from maybe Takeda and Cassie Cage. Absolutely not. Kung Jin is boring as shit. Jackie Briggs is really, really boring. Like, next level boring. She's probably the most boring character I've seen there since Dairu. Frost was one of those characters that definitely could have had a big role. You know, you see all these people having kids or having, you know, a spawn or something like that, or having an apprentice. And you definitely know that Frost, with the way that she is with Sub-Zero, with the fact that she has so much potential, not just from like a gameplay point of view and a storyline point of view, but actually in game, she has a lot of potential as I can't think of the word, as one of those people that use ice, as in the Link Way and all that stuff. They have so much potential there, as a Cryomancer, excuse me. There's so much they can do with her. And in Injustice 2, if you didn't try Sub-Zero, it actually looks like quite a few of those moves are classic Frost moves. So it looks like they may have been testing them out and seeing what they can do with the new engines, with the new gameplay styles, what they can do with Frost, and I do expect her to be in this game. Now, the last three characters. Li Mei. Li Mei is one of those characters that, like I've said before, was one of the most underappreciated throughout the 3D era characters. I mean, she was really, really cool. And obviously her look wasn't anything special, but I liked the way that they were doing things. Like, she was sort of like the new... She was Bo Raicho's new student and all that stuff, and it was really interesting to see what they could develop her. And I think that they had a lot of potential, they just didn't do it in the correct way, which is pretty much the common theme for the 3D era. They just continued to misfire, they continued to fail to really use the full potential of their characters that they developed, and it almost seemed like they didn't really appreciate them as they were continuing to make them. So I think that if Li Mei can come back, having the look that she had in MKX, because I actually really liked it, then I think that they have a big hit on their hands, and they could really do something special with her. Last, but definitely not least on this list, is Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage is one of those characters that I've always loved. I've always loved him from the very first game, and just because of the fact that he has so much charisma, I love the way he plays, I love his moveset, and I love the story he has behind him. He's so different from everybody else in there, and I want to see him come back. Now, there's one thing I want to say about this, and that is that basically Cassie Cage has sort of stolen his thunder, and not just from a moveset point of view, because she adopted quite a few of his moves, but also from a story. Like, we saw at the end of MKX that obviously she beat Shinnok, but she inherited his shadow power. So whenever something like desperate's about to happen, she can use that power, and she apparently is probably now going to be able to continue to use that even more, and I expect that to be a big development for her in MK11. So Johnny Cage is, I'm not going to say he's useless for the story in MK11, but I think he might be a little bit redundant. Thus, I think that we will probably see him as DLC. I threw him on here just because, in my opinion, having such a big fan base and having such a cool moveset, he probably has a good chance of being in the game. But even if he isn't, even if they decide to do more new characters than I expect them to do, that I think that he probably is the guy that has the most chances, but I think he also has the best chance of being DLC. Because in a world where so many guest characters are out there, the real hardcore fans of Mortal Kombat, like myself, like all the guys in the Nethercast, we don't want to see guest characters. We get excited for the actual Mortal Kombat characters that are added as DLC. We don't care about the casual shit with the damn guest characters. So when they introduce a combat pack, then inevitably, like, Pennywise is in there, or Spawn, or something like that. Everybody talks about Spawn. When those guys are announced, what we're going to be excited about is MK characters. So imagine Johnny Cage walks out and nut punches fucking Spawn. He nut punches Pennywise. How awesome would that be? That's what I look forward to. I look forward to seeing Johnny Cage coming back. If not in the main roster, then definitely as DLC, and probably becoming the most bought DLC character in fighting game history. And that's going to be very interesting to see. I want to see what they do with Johnny Cage. But that is it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button and let me know in the comment section down below what characters you want to see, and do you agree or disagree with the characters that I want to see. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way every single time I put out a video, you will get a notification and you're one click away from watching the video. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode.